February brings some big questions for us to answer. Thanks for all your questions and feedback in the previous videos. The questions are, when will the next 189 invitation round be? Will there be any changes to the migration system with the federal election coming soon? Why are some states closing for the 190 and 491 already? Will the significant investor visa return? What are the visa processing times now? My visa's expiring, what to do next? Hi, I'm Chris Johnston from Work Visa Lawyers and welcome to our February immigration news video. To receive all the latest Australian immigration news, please subscribe to our channel. This month we've helped many applicants and businesses apply for Australian visas with successes including many 482 and 408 visas, several subclass 400 specialist short stay visas, some resident return visas, a 491 visa granted to a registered nurse in South Australia, a 491 visa invitation at 70 points for a swimming instructor for South Australia. So when will the next 189 round be? The federal government does not have a fixed schedule for the 189 visa invitation rounds. However, we can make observations based on planning level allocations and the number of invitations issued in previous rounds. The last round on November the 7th was 15,000 invitations. Considering this, along with previous two rounds in September and November, a total of 22,973 invitations have already been issued this program year. The planning level for this program year up until the 30th of June 2025 is 16,900 189s. So with over 22,000 invitations and a planning level of 16,900, there might not be any more rounds this year, or if there is a round, then it might be a small targeted round for construction trades and health. I know this will be disappointing for some, but it's also good to try and plan for other options if necessary. Why are there no rounds for the 491 skilled regional family sponsored visa? Over the past three rounds, the number of invitations for the family sponsored 491 has been zero. The government has chosen to give no invitations. A visa that allows skilled migrants to live with relatives in regional areas would seem to be a good idea, but there's no invitations being given out. I usually advise, given the very low number of invitations in the last 2 years for the family-sponsored 491, that you're better off planning for other visas. Straight to PR with the 186 visa. We get the most inquiries at the moment about the 186 visa. It's a PR visa option that people really want. There are recent updates to clarify the policy for those trying to do a temporary residence transition from a 482 to the 186. The regulations include applications can be lodged a few days before completing the 2-year requirement of holding a 482. This is to avoid having to apply for a whole new 482 just to meet the 2-year requirement by a few days. Another thing is time spent on a bridging visa between two 482s can be counted towards the 2 years. So these are two helpful clarifications about the temporary transition 186. So, will the federal election be soon? Some journalists, such as Marnie True from the ABC News, predict that the federal election will take place on a Saturday on or before the 17th of May this year. This is significant because a change in government usually affects migration policies. As soon as the Australian federal government announces when the election will be, we'll bring it to you through our social media channels. Will the significant investor visa return, or are there any other investor options? Peter Dutton, leader of Australia's opposition and Liberal Party, has recently stated that he plans for the return of the SIV visa program. This is an immigration pathway for individuals willing to invest at least $5 million in Australia. The media has called the SIV a golden visa, and it's been controversial in the past. That's not the only pathway for investors at the moment. The new National Innovation Visa has recently been announced and it includes some options for investors. The NIV is looking for talented, experienced angel investors. So this is people with a previous history of investing in small startups. They can consider an expression of interest for the 858 visa. People like the NIV 858 because it's straight to PR. Try our new NIV assessment if you're interested. 190 and 491 visa updates. The Queensland Government has used approximately 50% of its state nomination allocation so far. They are particularly looking for onshore 491 applicants in Queensland and still have allocations available for the 491 Small Business Owner Program. Currently there are about 16,000 registrations of interest for the available places in Queensland. New South Wales. The 491 pathway is now closed for new applications for the program year for New South Wales. Pathway 1 is for individuals currently employed with a regional New South Wales employer. The Northern Territory has suspended its expression of interest allocations for the 190 and 491 visas as they've already received enough nomination applications to fill their entire program for the 2024 to 2025 program. The program will reopen once nomination applications are received for the 2025 to 2026 year. New expressions of interest will only be accepted from those with visa expiries or those that will lose points due to age problems. The Australian Capital Territory. The ACT held a skilled migration nomination invitation round on the 30th of January 2025. As part of the invitation round, there were a total of 230 190 nominations and 314 491 nominations issued. So why are some of the states closing their pathways already? The allocations for this financial year were very limited, and some states have already filled almost their entire places for the year. The number of expressions of interest or registrations of interest that most states have received is much higher than the allocations they have available. If you submit an expression of interest for any state in Australia and haven't received an invitation, we recommend you look for other visa options such as employer-sponsored visas. Now for some employer-sponsored visa news. Salary challenges for childcare workers. The salary is too low for the 482. Here is a comment we received about the occupation of childcare worker. Bianca made the comment, "Salary threshold is way above childcare worker legal award. No centre can pay that." The new CSOL includes the occupation of childcare worker with the option of a 482 temporary work visa or a permanent residency 186 visa. However, one of the biggest challenges is meeting the minimum core skills salary, which at the moment is $73,150 per year. Under the current Children's Services Award, the level 3.1 minimum annual salary for a starting position is $53,679. So I can understand your comment, Bianca. There's a huge gap between the award standards and what is required for the temporary minimum income threshold. Now, there are some childcare centres that are paying above award and that may sponsor some people, but overall, the salary is a big barrier for many. The core skills threshold is a barrier for 482 and 186 applications for other occupations, including entry-level trade positions for cooks and motor mechanics. Dharmas are red hot. We've seen a growing interest from employers and applicants in Dharmas. The Designated Area Migration Agreement is a labour agreement between the Australian Government and designated areas. It's designed to address skills shortages. Dharmas offer flexible visa options for skilled migrants. It allows employers in the designated areas to sponsor overseas workers for a range of occupations, often lower skilled occupations. There are often concessions for the 482 and 494. These can include age being up to 55, on salary being at or above 65,838, which is better than the TISMET, which is 73,150, and English being at a lower level. In South Australia, Northern Territory and Western Australia, the entire state or territory are Dharma areas. Recently, we've had a visa granted in South Australia for the occupation of horticultural grower through the Dharma. We have a video with tips on how to find a sponsor, which can be very useful, and we know that it can be challenging to find a sponsor. Successful student visa appeals. Recently, a tribunal member was criticised for a significant copying and pasting in a decision regarding an international student's visa cancellation. In the case of Mazudin and the Minister for Immigration and Multicultural Affairs at the Federal Circuit Court, you can find the link below. What are the visa processing times now? Many people are asking about visa processing times taking longer. But comparing with the video that we posted in September, talking about visa processing times, the processing times are very similar. Here are some examples of visa processing times in February 2025. The 186 direct entry temporary transition pathway, 50% are taking 5 months and 90% up to 18 months. The 820 onshore partner, 50% are processed in 9 months and 90% are processed within 18 months. The 407 training visa, 50% are processed in 3 months and 90% are within 9 months. The 482 skills in demand and core skills stream visa, 50% are processed in 4 days and 90% are processed in 11 days. My visa is expiring, what should I do next? A major trend at the moment is the end of the easy temporary visas. The COVID 408, the 485, student visas and working holiday visas are often expiring. So what's the next option? The answer to this question really depends on your situation and skills, but common visas that I consider now are the 407 training visa, the 482 or partner visas. You can also consider a student visa apart from if you're holding a 485. If you have any visa questions, you can book an appointment with one of our migration agents or immigration lawyers. We welcome your comments and questions. They help us make more useful videos for you. Subscribe for all the latest. Thanks for watching.